What is your read, Kieran, on what happened a year ago when the Irish Human Rights Commission and the Equality Authority were, in the view perhaps of most people in this room and in their own perception, were downgraded by the budget cuts of a year ago? What was the Green Party's verdict, the net verdict on that now?
Chairman, I was unhappy with the changes that were announced a year ago, and I think it is of crucial importance that the Equality Authority and similar organisations have sufficient funding to carry out their functions. And I was concerned at the announcement a year ago. I think it is still it is as important now as it was a year ago that these core bodies can carry out their statutory remit and have the freedom to do so.
And am I not right in saying that there were a lot of Green Party lobbying in the public press, which said that they wouldn't be going along with some of this, and that there were, if you compare the Ardèche speeches and the annual conference speech of Dermot Ahern and John Gormley, there was a gap there, and it would seem that Dermot Ahern has won.
Chairman, I think there is always a critical friction between parties in government, and I think that was certainly evident in the discussion about equality. It's also certainly evident in the discussion of the Civil Partnerships Bill, where the Green Party see this as a stepping stone towards full marriage equality, and our partners in government don't see it in a similar light. And I think there will always be tensions in government.
The floor can now put questions to the panel or to individual members of the panel. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Questions? Yes.
My name is Ron Woods. I'm with Black Freely Their Rights Centres. I'd like to direct a question to the panel in general. Earlier interventions today talked about the independence of the two bodies, and human rights equality bodies generally as being a very, very important issue. So in other words, that would involve steps like making the bodies directly accountable to Parliament or Oireachtas in our case here. I'd like to know, first of all, whether the panelists, and I know two of them already said so, whether they agree with this, and also to hear their concrete proposals for implementing this sooner or later.
Okay, how about that, Joe Costello?
I think I already said that I regard it as extremely important that equality and human rights organisations had an independent mechanism insofar as possible, and that they were independent in exercising their remit. What the Labour Party has done already is we proposed a motion at our last annual conference to this effect, and it was passed unanimously, that henceforth that we would have the Oireachtas itself being the body to which the Equality Authority would be answerable to, both answerable and accountable to, that it would relate to the Parliament rather than relate to the Department of Justice, or indeed for that matter, though our motion was in relation to the Equality Authority. I feel strongly that any organisation that has a human rights remit, and that part of that remit is to challenge and to be a watchdog in relation to human rights, that might conflict with any department, with the government. I do believe that they should likewise be answerable to the Oireachtas, and that there should be a strong role of such organisations attending the Oireachtas on a regular basis, both to inform the Oireachtas committees about the
Okay, I have your point. Accountable to the Oireachtas. What about their appointment, the behind closed doors appointment by the establishment itself, the housing of the, potentially the housing of the organisation within the same physical building, so that they pick up on the culture and they might go native and all that? What's your view of all of that? Is it,
well, likewise,
not what's your view. What would Labour do if in government on those matters?
Certainly we would deabsorb, if that's the correct word, We don't believe in absorbing these organisations into the department, whether it's the Department of Justice, whether it's the Department of Social Welfare, whether it's the Department of Education. I think they're too important because they're dealing with the rights of the citizen to be absorbed into the department. So we would give them the mechanism to operate independently of the line department to which they are dealing with.
And who would appoint
they may be challenging.
Who would appoint them?
Well, that's something that we haven't discussed in any detail, but it certainly would not be a direct appointment by the government or by the minister.
Would Fine Gael go along with that?
Go along with some of it.
Which bits would you not go along with?
What I wouldn't go along with, and Kieran said that it's perhaps not an easy time to be in government with Fianna Fáil, but I think Minister Ryan should be given praise where it's due, and one of the things that I think it's due is the appointment of the RTE Authority and the Broadcasting Commission, where 4 members of the 9 will be appointed by a joint Oireachtas committee. And what I would like to see happen in relation to very important appointments of the state, on behalf of the state, that the Oireachtas is consulted rather than just the winner of the election. Because for the last 22 or the last 25 years, Fianna Fáil have been in government and they've been appointing people with the starting point being, do they support Fianna Fáil? Now, one thing I don't want to happen is the replacement of what I consider a corrupt system, from a corrupt Fianna Fáil system with a Fianna Fáil appointment to a corrupt Fine Gael system.
Yeah, but Fine Gael did the same when in government. I mean, it's a natural, it's a human thing. You know somebody, they're a known quantity, you think they're very interested in the agenda. And
what I'm saying, John, is that if the Oireachtas Joint Committee have the appointment similar to what Minister Ryan has done, it would be a good thing. There's one very other important aspect of this. Fine Gael have said that we will bring forward a constitutional referendum effectively to re-empower the Oireachtas committees. Because following the Aguilar incident, there was a Supreme Court case.
I take that as a Fine Gael policy, but I don't want the detail because we haven't enough time for the many other agenda. I want to stay on this agenda and on this report as far as possible.
Yeah, but
just the oxygen is limited. Yes.
The other point about it was there is in politics what I call the rub-off effect. If you rub shoulders with somebody long enough, and they keep telling you over and over, it's the Michael O'Leary effect. Keep selling the message. It's what housing bodies like the Equality Authority, with the line department, eventually they get worn down. The rub-off effect happens, and it shouldn't.